Hi guys, it's Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and today I wanted to take a few minutes because it seems like this summer there have been a lot of coaches that are for sale, a lot of folks are buying them, a lot of this kind of transactions going on. I wanted to take a minute and talk about that. And you guys that own coaches that you're looking to sell, if there's several reasons. I mean, you may have loved it for years, and you've come up to the reality that you need to sell it, or you got one of them and it was just a bit overwhelming, right? These are good reasons, and there's a lot of other ones. But understand, you and I come and go. These coaches are going to stay. So in essence, we are stewards of these artifacts. They've been around 50 years. Kind of scary. But you need to think of yourself as a steward. Now, all of the money and the time and energy and in the love and all that stuff that you've showered on your baby for how many ever years you've had it, okay? And it was good for you. It needs to be turned to a new steward that will look at it the same way you looked at yours. You need a good end to the story. So be very, very fair and give the next buyer, the next steward of your coach, a good opportunity to take care of it, because in the future, say 5 years from now, you see your motorhome. Hey, that's my motorhome. You're going to still have pride in it. So there's a certain amount of pride in this. And I know this flies in the face of every used car salesman in the world. I told my dad there were two things I didn't want to do in this world. And if you're one of them, I'm sorry. I didn't want to be a used car salesman. I didn't want to be an insurance salesman. I'd do anything else. But those are the two things I don't want to do, because I get attached to things. And my guess is if you got a GMC, you got attached to. All right. Now to you buyers, all right? A good deal is a very fair deal. And you got to understand, the money you put in it to buy it is a drop in the bucket to what you're going to have in it in 5 years or whatever amount of time, like the last owner was. Okay? So when you purchase one of these things, don't go crazy. Okay? Of course, you have to keep it in mind. But if you find one of these motorhomes, I give you a number. So many go, well, if you like this and that and all that, listen, monetarily speaking, if you can get one of these motorhomes that runs, and in a minute I'm going to tell you what runs means, but it runs and it looks like it's all there. It's complete. If you can buy that for under $10,000, and you say, well, God, that's a lot of money, 10,000. What about 5,000? I understand what you're saying. That's up to you guys. Well, whoever wants to kick the can or whatever. But if you find a coach that is viable, that you can work with, okay, for under $10,000, I would buy it, honestly. Okay? Because understand, that is the smaller investment that you're going to have, the smaller investment you're going to have in maintaining and using this coach. Okay? And you go, oh, I can't believe that. Yesterday, I drove over to Ranch Hand's new purchase over in DeBerry, Florida. And there's going to be some other videos about some of the stuff we did there. But I wanted to take a few minutes and tell you that we got over there, all right? And he was just excited. Him and his wife both were very excited about what they got. I've been working with them for a week to get home. Home's about 50, 60 miles. They had the crack on the intake. And we'll talk about that in another video. Well, we've almost killed that crack in the intake thing. But guys, if you don't think about it, it is absolutely happening now. And if you buy a motorhome and you can't reasonably verify that the exhaust crossovers are blocked, drive it about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and don't get in a problem because it may shut down if the exhaust crossovers are not blocked. This has been an issue in 3 different uh, recoveries that I've talked to folks on phone about. Okay, so you guys that buy these things, if somebody's put a lot of money into it, look at it that it's things you don't have to do if it's done the way you want them. Now, these coaches are 50 years of good intentions. Nobody rigged them intentionally. Well, maybe me, but chances are somebody had the great intentions of whatever they modified in that coach. So that's wonderful, but you need to know what it is. So what you need to do is to get that thing stable and get it home, and then investigate all the modifications. I went over to this coach yesterday in DeBerry, and I'll tell you, check this out. Now, if you know the heater control, the heater box here. Now, this is a 73. The guy that owned this previous was a engineer, supposedly at Chrysler. Look at this. He put a variable valve for the air intake on the system, trying to get it to work better, trying to force air into it. Pretty interesting. There were other modifications in this coach that we know we're going to have to take out because it's just old. And he was an engineer and he did rig some things. It was good intention, but there were some things rigged. But why? Because it was kind of like my coach. My neutral safety switch is bypassed. Why? Because it went out and I was on the road and I bypassed it and I've left it. I tell you not to do that, and you shouldn't. This is a coach that is not is mine. You need to look for things like that when you have an engineer's coach. It doesn't make it like, oh, I'm going to take $5,000 off because there's a bunch of wires. No, come on, man. Be fair on what the price is, because believe me, there is karma. And if you steal that from some old lady, something may come back at you. Okay. Uh, so these coaches are a stewardship. You don't own it. It kind of owns you, because once you buy it, you've got to do something with it. You're going to have to put labor in it. You're going to have to put money in it, or you're going to let it sit there and it's going to deteriorate further than it is. And it will be, worth less, or you didn't fulfill your ideas of what you wanted to do with it. Right. So buyers and sellers of GMCs are a little bit of a different breed, because you're looking for these. You're seeking them out because you want one. There aren't too many other. Matter of fact, I wouldn't put my money in any vintage motorhome, not just because I'm subjective to a GMC, but think about it. If you're going to use a vehicle, you're going to need parts for the vehicle, replacement parts. And the parts distribution that we have with a GMC, because one, it's a Tornado drivetrain that could keep it going, and because there were enough of them made, there are enough interest that folks will make available unique parts. It may be a little bit more money, but the thing is, the part is available. The RevCon guys, they would love to have the distribution of parts that we have, because all of their parts went away when the guy that owned them passed away. It's a bummer. So a GMC is the one that you have a chance of actually using, maintaining, and enjoying. And that's something I found out over the last 25 years of helping people work on it, right? Buying and selling a GMC is an occasion. It's a celebration of the next guy. I know I'm getting a little bit mushy and stuff, but it seriously is. It's starting a whole new chapter in that motorhome's life, and it'll be one of many chapters. Okay, so the seller has his motivations and things going on. Don't just make it, I'm going to get as much money as I can. Don't do that. Maybe so. You put the price out that somebody wants it, he's willing to pay for it. Help him out. You guys have a steak dinner, flip, see who pays for it, and have that coach move on to its next chapter of life. All right, I've mumbled on here a little bit longer than I wanted to, but the coach that I just came from yesterday was a beautiful example of an engineer putting his best foot forward in ideas, and it had wonderful ideas like the one I showed you. But when when it really comes down to it, it needs to pass hands. It needs to be in a good condition that the next person can do something with it. When we went over there yesterday, the intention was to do this. You can see here we've got battery shutoff switches, the ACR 160s in there, the isolator's gone, the boost switch is gone, cleaned up, a lot of cleaned up wire. This is the reason I went over to the main reason I went over to see that coach was to help this guy get a leg out on it. And he was in Orlando, I mean near Orlando, 45 minutes away. And I wanted to thank him for the fun I had in making some sweat. Thank you. I hope this is helpful. If you're looking to buy one, close your eyes and write the check. It's worth it. And somebody is here to help you. If you sell them one, have a good end, a good chapter, last chapter to your book. I dare you. All right. See you next time. Please hit like and all that stuff. And see you later.